Oh my god, these sesame seeds are everywhere!
Hi Ryan, it's Juan here. Your key ingredient for this challenge is going to be the black sesame seeds, and I cannot wait to see what you're gonna be creating with it. See you soon.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Key Ingredient, the show where every month a chef or subscriber gives me an ingredient to work with and I turn it into a dessert. This month's key ingredient is... I am wild about black sesame. I think it is so good. I think it's one of those ingredients that plays really well whether the dish is sweet or savory, so this is perfect. So before we start, during the Chinese black olive episode, I talked a little bit about this incident at the restaurant where I made a black sesame panna cotta and it kept getting sent back to the kitchen with the complaint that it tasted too much like black sesame, and I was appalled. And I think about this incident a lot, even though it happened over 10 years ago, but not like I hold on to things or that I hold grudges or that I dwell on things or anything like that. I can't help that I remember that it happened March 16th of 2017 at 1:44 p.m. I've mostly let it go. I rarely talk about it in therapy anymore. It is in my stickies notes, and it is on my notes app on my computer, and it is in my journal, the one that I use, not the two blank ones that I don't use. But I like bold flavors. I want to taste things. If something is called something, I want to taste it. I don't like things that are really subtle or a whisper of a flavor, or they suggest that they might be there. I want the full flavor. I don't like things that taste like a secret. And sure, anything can be too strong. That shouldn't suggest that I don't think that there are things that are too strong. I once made this ice cream called Kimyona, and I forget what that actually means, but it meant something. And it was a black garlic ice cream with a red pepper gel swirl. And I had someone try it and they said, "Ryan, that's disgusting. You can't sell that." And then I had someone else try it and they said, "Ryan, that's disgusting. You can't sell that." So I sold it. I did sell one. I sold 1 pint of it, and the person came back the next week and they said that they liked it. So I don't know. When I got black sesame as an ingredient, I immediately thought panna cotta, obviously. And I thought maybe I can do this again and redeem myself. Not that I needed to, but I thought maybe I'll try it again and refine it. But I just made a panna cotta in the last episode, so I don't want to do that. Or as my friend Stephanie would say, panna cotta, panna cotta. But she also pronounces turquoise, so I'm gonna say what I want. So anyway, I love black sesame and I use it a lot. I've used it in breads and cookies and ice cream, which are all great, but I kind of want to venture into an area that I don't play around too much in, which is candy and confectionery. Apart from marshmallows. I love making marshmallows for some reason. I'm psychotic about it, and it's really hard for me to not eat an entire batch all at once. And I have, many times. Having said that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a candy bar, in a way. It is. The bottom layer is going to be a black sesame shortbread, and that is going to have black sesame paste and black sesame seeds, and that's going to be really buttery, and it'll be a nice cookie layer for the bottom, and it'll be kind of savory. It won't be super sweet. And then on top, Juan is originally from Colombia, and there's a treat that is kind of really prominent throughout all of Latin America, which is kind of our coconut macaroons, not macaron, but coconut macaroons, and it's called the cocada. So I think I'm going to do a layer of black sesame cocada on top of that, but I don't want it to be as sweet as a traditional coconut macaroon. So I'm gonna throw in some toasted cornflakes and some lemon zest and a heavy pinch of salt, and dial down the sugar a little bit. So it'll have a nice chew, and it'll be kind of like fouilletine, but not as expensive, but kind of just as crispy and delicate, I think. Maybe. Yeah. So that'll go on top of the shortbread. And then on top of the coconut layer is going to be a black sesame ganache, and that'll be really rich and decadent. It won't be super thick because it's really rich, but chocolate pairs really well with both black sesame and coconut, so I think that'll be a nice layer. I don't want it to be too rich because I want you to be able to eat the entire candy bar in one sitting, which I will probably do. with like a lot of the test batches. I'm not doing a test batch, I'm just gonna make it. And then for the final layer, which will be like the thickest layer, I'm gonna do a banana caramel on top of the ganache. I've never made a banana caramel before, so to boost the banana flavor, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roast the bananas in the peels in the oven. Once those are roasted, I'm going to puree those, cook that on the stovetop a little bit to kind of like dry it out a little bit and push some of the moisture out. And then I'm gonna steep that in some cream, and then hopefully that'll draw out like enough banana flavor, and then strain out the pulp. So I'll just get the flavor. When I make banana ice cream, I usually just like steep the whole bananas and do like a cold infusion for like 48 hours. And that is really nice. And you get like a really strong, fresh banana flavor. So I'm hoping I can still do that this way. I also don't want to wait that long. And then to make it like a candy bar, I'm going to temper some chocolate, which I don't really like doing, and I haven't done in a very long time. Well, that's not true. I haven't enrobed anything in chocolate in a very long time, and I'm also like not very good at it. I'm kind of sloppy, so they probably will look sloppy, and I don't care. But I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna temper some chocolate, cover all of the candy bars in chocolate, and then I'll garnish them with some Malden salt and some black sesame seeds, maybe some toasted coconut. I don't know yet, probably not. I think that might be just unnecessary. So there won't be like as much of a plating element of it this time. That should also cut down on my running time a little bit because I feel like these are getting kind of long. And I always watch the YouTube analytics to see like when people stop watching, and like people stop watching way earlier than I think that they should. So I'm going to have to meet them halfway and compromise, which is something I'm not very good at doing because I was born in April and I'm an Aries. And people should watch the full thing anyway. So we're gonna make some candy. We're gonna make a candy bar, and I'm not worried about this. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna look cool. The only thing I'm worried about is like the chocolate part, because I haven't done that since pastry school, and I'm not a candy maker. So they might look kind of ugly, but like ugly things can be pretty. Rustic elegance, as I was told once, which still kind of offends me, but like that's fine. I once worked with a chef who made a lot of desserts that looked like they were mistakes, and they really embraced that and said like, I like it like that. That's how it's supposed to be. But I think that they just didn't know how to fix it, and so they just left it. So I might just go that route. Let's make some candy. First, I'm gonna mix some powdered sugar with some salt, and then I'm gonna toast some sesame seeds in a dry pan to really boost their nutty flavor. I'm gonna set those aside and then cream the butter with the sugar and salt, add some vanilla, and then the toasted sesame seeds, and then mix in some black sesame paste, which can also be called black sesame tahini, because that's what it is. Once that's combined, I'm going to scrape down the bowl just to make sure that everything is fully incorporated together. This thing is ridiculous. Ugh. What is going on? What is that? I don't even know what that is. All I know is it's broken. Okay, well, you know, for like $500, that shouldn't be happening, but okay. Next, the dry ingredients go in, and then once that comes together, I'm gonna roll that out between two pieces of parchment to the desired thickness. I was originally going to sort of press this into a pan with high sides so that I could build the candy bar inside of that and have it be totally contained. And I don't know why I chose to do it freestyle like this, but I did. I think secretly I just really wanted to roll things out because I like rolling things out. My very first job, I was given a sheet tray with about 20 different doughs that I needed to roll out to a full sheet tray size, and I think that's when I learned that I am kind of good at it and I like it. I'm going to place this onto a sheet tray and then dock it a little bit so that it doesn't puff up too much while it bakes in the oven. I don't want to bake it too long because I don't want it to get really dry and brittle, but I also don't want it to be underbaked so that it's super soft. I'm going to start this next part by toasting the coconut and the cornflakes in the oven, mostly just to get rid of that raw cereal flavor and deepen the flavor a little bit. I'm going to crush those up to fine crumbs and then toss them together with the coconut and sesame seeds, a little bit of salt, and some black sesame paste, followed by a little bit of condensed milk, a little honey, and some lemon zest will go in next, and then I'm going to mix that all together by hand.
I don't even know what that's for.
I'm adding condensed milk as I go, measuring each time that I do until I get the desired consistency that I want. It should just hold together when I clump it in my hand, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I put it on the shortbread knowing that I couldn't spread it out evenly because it was really thick, but I tried to anyway, only to remove it so that I could roll it out separately, which naturally got me spiraling about everything. Why do I always do that? I literally tell myself not to do something, and then I do it. And then I say, see, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Did I pay my electric bill? I need to vacuum up all of these sesame seeds I keep stepping on. This looks sloppy. Does it? Maybe it doesn't. No, it probably does. Why am I still doing this? I should have gone into healthcare. But hospitals really gross me out. This better be good. I do love making things flat though. This part feels right. Is it still raining? Why didn't I just build this in a tray? At least it's squared off now. Whatever, it's fine. I'm ordering Panda Express. I'm going to make a paste with some soft butter and black sesame tahini, and I'm going to add this in later on once the ganache is finished. So once that's fully combined, I'm going to scald some cream on the stove, and while that's heating up, measure out some bittersweet chocolate. There are many ways to make ganache, but the simplest is just to pour the hot cream over the chocolate, let it sit for about a minute to start the melting process, and then using a spatula, stir from the very center, gradually bringing in the cream from the outside edges. I'm going to add a heavy pinch of salt and then stir in the black sesame butter. It's too loose to use right away, so I'm going to chill this briefly, making sure not to let it chill for too long so that it's super solid. Once it gets to be like frosting, I'm going to spread that evenly over the cocada layer, then sprinkle with some leftover of the toasted sesame seeds. I don't know why, but I find spreading things even to be like massively satisfying and soothing. So I took my time in just making sure I went all the way to the edges in one clean, even layer. Then sprinkle the leftover sesame seeds on top, and then figure out what to do with this leftover ganache. I know people say you can tell a lot about a cook by how tidy they are, but my brain tends to operate on a slightly more artistic frequency. So yeah, I'm a little messy and I don't like rules.
But like, I never claimed to be a role model.
I'm going to start with some fresh bananas and place those on a sheet tray. Give those a little stab, stab, stab to help the steam escape while they roast. And then once they're roasted in the oven, which took about like 20-30 minutes, they're going to be super black and oozy, and the insides will be all soft and sweet and not quite as starchy. I had way more banana than I needed, so I'm going to save that for something else like adding to pancakes or something like that. I'll puree the flesh and then bring some cream up to a simmer on the stove while I dry out the banana flesh in a pan to drive out some of that excess moisture and concentrate the flavor just a little bit more. Then I'll whisk that into the cream and let that steep overnight. Like, why am I using a whisk here? And why did I get the spatula now? What am I doing? Now that it's infused overnight, it has a really nice strong banana flavor, so I'm going to heat that just a little bit on the stove so that it's a little easier to strain out the banana pulp. Then I'm going to top it off with a little more cream just to make up for any that I lost from steeping. I'll add that to a pot along with the corn syrup, honey, and salt, and then I'm going to make a caramel on the stove with some sugar. I'll add the cream in 3 stages and cook that to about 240. Now, sugar gets really hot, like crazy hot, and it can burn you really bad, especially before you add cream or fat. So that one line cook that used to eat all of my cookies and dessert components behind my back when I left my station once came over and asked what I was making. I said I was making caramel, but it was really just melted sugar at that point, and he asked if he could try it, and before I could answer, he stuck his finger in to try it, and it stuck to him like glue. He got really mad and asked why I didn't warn him, and then I asked, why did you eat all my prep? And he never did it again. All right, let's taste this and see if it's banana-y. Needs more salt. That's so good. I have to work pretty quickly here because this kind of caramel tends to set up really fast, so I have to spread this evenly over the chilled ganache layer before it sets. Careful not to let it spill over the edge too much. Oh, you better get it. Whoa. Oh, you got it! I did put this in the freezer so that it would chill really fast, but then I forgot. So it was rock hard and really hard to slice. But I'm gonna slice this up into individual bars using a hot knife dipped in some water, hot water, and then wiped dry after each pass, which will help me get really nice, clean slices. Tempering chocolate is the process of carefully heating, cooling, and agitating it to stabilize the cocoa butter crystals, which is what gives finished chocolate that nice snap and glossy shine. Keeping it in temper while you work is really hard, and I don't really have any dipping tools, so I tried a few techniques like dumping and dunking, coating, not giving a and it started to set up super fast, so I didn't even really get to garnish a lot of these. And I thought I was being smart by placing these on a greased wire rack to let the excess chocolate drain off, but clearly that wasn't the best choice, and I found that out pretty quickly. That was stupid. So now I fully realize why I don't make candy bars very often and why I don't temper chocolate really ever. It's also really hard to film and do time-sensitive production all on your own, but all this really tells me is that my talents lie elsewhere. Don't look at me. I mean, it's not like the prettiest candy bar in the world, and granted I'm a little rusty, but like, it's not terrible. It's just like, it's like a little thick on the outside. Shortbread's nice, the coconut is nice, the caramel's really nice. I do need to like top the sesame a little bit, and then also like refine my chocolate work on the outside, but it's fine. It's pretty good. What is this? Thank you everyone for watching episode 14 of Key Ingredient. Please leave a comment if you like this video and if you want to keep seeing more of them, or if you just want to let me know anything at all. All sorts of engagement really does help. Okay, thanks, bye.